to I'll wait a few seconds for people to get on. It's not going to be as exciting an evening because Raya's not here, but she's at a sleep. She's going to sleep over her friend's house most likely. However, it is in terms of news, it's probably better that Raya's not here because we'll be able to get to the news. Because today, what happened was, instead of what Israel was talking about yesterday, which was loosening, easing restrictions, and people should go to work, and places could open up as long as there's 30 people, no more than 30 people. So just as they were saying, like, we're going to loosen the restrictions and start getting back to normal life because Iran is defeated. They didn't say that. Adding that, and it's safe. It's safe to come out from your bomb shelter. Just when that happened, 7 a.m., not my alarm clock, but sirens go off. We went scrambling. First of all, we got the pre-siren alert. And I was like, yeah, but lately we get these pre-siren alerts, and yet then we don't get sirens in Jerusalem. They figure out that the missiles are heading elsewhere. So I was like, let's just let the kids sleep unless there's actually a siren. Sure enough, the one time we decide to let them sleep and not wake them up is when there actually is a siren, and then we had seconds to go running. And what happened today? Today was probably, despite the fact that there were no deaths, it was probably the worst strategic hit. It's okay, Tony. Everybody's used to this. That Daniel's part of. In 1 second, he'll be right in the camera as well. So today, the missiles at 7 a.m. hit two neighborhoods, one in Holon and one in Ramat Gan. But the headline news from today was it hit a hospital. Soroka Hospital, which is in the south in Beersheba, serves 1 million people, and miraculously, no deaths from that hit. But this prompted calls for the annihilation of the Ayatollahs, the assassination of Khamenei, the Ayatollah, that's it. Especially many of the right-wing Israeli politicians who were there at the scene today, calling for just the complete wiping out of the Iranian regime and military, and just going in there full blast. I heard National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir said when he was at the hospital visit, he said, one thing we've learned from Gaza is you don't do half a job. You got to go all the way. And he said, I've always been in favor of going all the way. I don't want to, he doesn't want to pull out of Gaza. He wants to make sure that Gaza is completely, of course, him and his party, they actually want the Palestinians out, and they want to resettle Gaza. But now with Iran, also wants the complete elimination of the regime. So I think a picture paints 1,000 words. So what we're going to do tonight is I set up some videos that we can check out of what happened. So let's see. Let's go to this one first. Here is no sound on this one, I guess. Oh my gosh, no sound on my computer. Man, I hope it's not taking me. Okay, let's go to another one. Oh, this is different. This one is, which one am I on? This is in Holon. This city of Cologne. I mean, look at that blast. It looks like some of the pictures coming out of actually out of Iran. Let's check out another one. Quiet this guy. All right, here, let's check out these. This is in Ramat Gan. There's another residential area that was hit. No, we're looking at hundreds more that are now evacuated from the home.
הלך נחת אצלנו פה, תראה מה עשו לנו, כל הבית, כל הבית הלך הבית.
It says here, by the way, by permission of the censor, this is what is used? Evidence of the destruction, the massive destruction of the missile that fell at the time. And censor, that's a whole issue. We'll get to that. That's what I've got as well. That is much. Check out another one. Look at that, all the glass. Imagine the shower of glass. Oh, yeah, not that though. Yeah, I guess they're going head to head. Okay, let's see. Let's see. What else do we have here? I've got a few more. Hey, Laura, and hello, Jacob. Yes, we are all safe. Okay, let's see what this guy has here. This is outside the hospital. And check out this picture. Look at this. That is a disaster. Okay.
Yeah.
Daniel, yeah, disaster. Okay, wait, I'm going to just shut some of these that I already used so I could see what else I have. The comments, of course. Now, here's a good one as well. The funny thing is where I find these photos on some people's formerly known as Twitter accounts. He's using, this one here is using the video from I-24 News, an Israeli station, and he's saying that it's, what does he say? He calls part of the massive destruction in Holon, central occupied Palestine, caused by Iranian missiles that targeted the area this morning. And he goes, in case you're wondering why Trump is panicking, did anyone think Trump was panicking? Look at this destruction. And nobody was killed. This is, that's what you call a miracle, especially the hospital. They say that they evacuated, not evacuated, they had cleared out that particular ward at this isn't the hospital. This is, I think, a building in Holon. They cleared out the specific ward in the hospital right before yesterday. They just they moved operations, and so where the missile hit exactly was empty, unbelievably empty. That otherwise there could have been hundreds of casualties. So today, as opposed to everybody thinking, okay, things are calming down, there were 30 ballistic missiles. And now not only has now the pace picked up again with the missiles, but they discovered it among some of the munitions that they found at the scene, cluster bombs. So the Iranians they've now upped the game in terms of the missiles that they're using. They've already been the most powerful missiles we've experienced, and definitely compared to Hamas, uh, also compared to Hezbollah and the Houthis. But these are like a whole new ball game. But now they have these clusters. So wait, I've got an article on that. Let me find that because this was really interesting. Where are the clusters? Where are my clusters? I have like this information somewhere. Oh, and here's the other thing. Oh, this is funny. Wait, let me show you this one. All right. Here you go. The foreign minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi, he holds a press conference to show that it wasn't the hospital that, well, first they said that the hospital, oh no, the hospital wasn't targeted. It was a military complex nearby. And then he says here that he says that they eliminated Israeli military command control and intelligence headquarters and another vital target, and they used some kind of AI. Where is that AI image to show that there were what do you call it? That there were tanks underneath. So here is this picture in his Twitter. But this isn't the AI picture that I saw. But anyway, this is the damage in the hospital. And this was what he put on his account here. But anyway, I gotta find that. So anyway, all right. So this is the sixth day. Tomorrow. Oh wait, tonight is going to make it 1 week at 3 a.m. Since Israel has done its nonstop strikes across Iran, and the big question is, I think the question we were left with yesterday, and we're also still asking the same question today, is America going to get involved? And there's so much back and forth about that I've decided that it's probably not worth guessing. I think that Trump is playing it typical Trump. He put out a statement today saying the Wall Street Journal doesn't know what I'm thinking. And then yesterday, when a reporter asked, are you going to get involved? He's like, oh, yeah, and I'm going to tell you exactly when and where. I mean, he's like, of course, I'm not going to tell you. So he's really playing this game of, I don't want to say deception, like he's purposely deceiving, but he's like, definitely, he is not giving out any information. Maybe he's purposely even being a bit vague about it, like extremely vague and sometimes contradictory, and that continues until now. I think there's let me check out this other article here. Let me see this. Daniel, what are you doing? The cat. Okay, the cat. Yes, I know. Okay, so here's from Time. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today, we will exact the full price from the tyrants in Tehran. Defense Minister Israel Katz said the cowardly Iranian dictators sit in the depths. Dictator. He's talking about the Ayatollah. He sits in the depths of his fortified bunker and fires aimed shots at hospitals and residential buildings in Israel. These are war crimes. of the most serious kind, and Khamenei will be held accountable for his crimes. So also, he says the prime minister and I have instructed the IDF to increase the intensity of attacks against strategic targets in Iran and against government targets in Tehran in order to remove threats to the state of Israel. Okay, and then we've got Itamar Ben-Gvir. Oh, they spelled his name wrong. I told you before what he said about, you don't do half a job. He also said the regime of the Ayatollahs needs to be annihilated. This is a historic moment. We have the opportunity to defeat Iranian nukes, the Nazis, the Ayatollahs, anyone who hates the state of Israel.
Wow.
So, rhetoric is definitely heating up. The more that the Iranians hit civilian targets like this, they surely are. People here surely are in favor of increased military action and finishing the job. All right, I just want to say hi to Marsha, Marilyn, Diane, thanks for tuning in. Diane, my parents are stranded in Israel, stuck here. They should have been back in the U.S. today, but they're still here. So today was really big news in terms of the increased attacks, the hits, and the fact that now Iran is using different missiles that they haven't used before. So these cluster bombs, I have to find this article. Well, nope, that's not the one. Hold on. I'm going to find this article about that I found earlier today that talks about what actually this cluster missile is. Cluster missile, cluster bomb. I mean, you hear about it. All right, let's see. Nope, that's not a good one. All right, go into this one. We'll go back to the J post for this. All right, a cluster bomb is a containered warhead that, upon reaching its targeted area, opens in midair and scatters dozens or hundreds of smaller explosives known as bomblets over a wide zone. So they say, I read somewhere that it actually could be up to 4 miles. Wherever this bomb decides to explode or to release the clusters, it could be a 4-mile radius. Wow, on the news they're saying right now that because of Ramat Gan, there's the hit there. 1,000 more residents have had to been evacuated. That is crazy, and there's actually. That's just there. So also what they have to do is that they have to, the hospital had to evacuate its patients because now they can't get care there. And they had to go to a nearby hospital in Ashkelon. So now there's already a lot of, what is omis on the hospitals? It just works better in Hebrew. It's like it's backwards. It's talking backwards. So backup. It's like there's too much pressure on the hospitals right now. So they have to. They're telling patients. Like I read somewhere that they're considering mothers who are giving birth that they send them home within 12 hours after giving birth. So that's like one of the ways they're trying to alleviate the pressure on the hospitals. Load. Okay, load. Okay. So, by the way, the hospital in Beersheba also would be serving the Bedouin community, and probably is staffed by Jews, Arabs, everybody working together. Here's some images from the hospital on the TV. Oh, that's already not the hospital. I think now that's somewhere else. Oh, okay, yeah, that's. I mean, it's insane.
90% מבית החולים נמצא למטה, ולכן הצלחנו להציל חיים.
Okay, he just said that according to that they had already moved 90% of the hospital operations underground into a safe area, so that most of the people were already in a safe place, like already in a sheltered place, and so that's why this was not a massive tragedy, and otherwise there would have been hundreds of people in this particular ward that was hit, and the shock waves of these things are felt for blocks around. All right, what else do we have? I had this. So talking about the U.S. Whether or not the U.S. Will enter the war. So a lot of people are thinking like, okay, once the U.S. enters, and by the way, they're moving a lot of their equipment. I think Laura mentioned that, but they're moving a lot of there's a lot of military equipment being moved and to this region. And so there's, people are thinking, okay, they're going to get involved. And the assumption is once the U.S. gets involved, that the victory is near, that between the U.S. and Israel, they'll be able to firmly defeat the Iranians. But somebody was pointing out that, okay, but that could ignite fire from other places. Will the proxies and militias in Iraq get involved? Will Hezbollah get involved? Will Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen, will they get involved? What's also going to happen in the waterways? Like Iran was saying today that they want to block the Strait of Hormuz. So then will that move then to a naval battle? What else about will the Kurds get involved? I mean, will the British have to get involved because of the naval battle? I mean, it's just they're on so many levels. So we have all of these different factors to consider that are surrounding us now. I'm trying to think what else is interesting from today, Tony, because that's about it that's what I have notes wise. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else that was absolutely fascinating or if you guys have any questions. But we're in Jerusalem, we haven't had any sirens since 7:00 this morning. I know in the north they had a bunch. There was a launch of about, was that 20 missiles in the afternoon? I think 10 in the morning, 20 in the afternoon. And
Morning 10? No, I thought it was less than 10. But I think in the afternoon it was like more like 25 to 30
okay.
missiles, yeah.
All right, but with no damage reported, or at least no major damage. Some, I think it was the Dutch embassy was reporting that that the Ramat Gan missile damaged their building in Tel Aviv. But other than that, there is the destruction in those particular areas. And it's created a lot of evacuations, or a lot of people having to go live, displacement, let's say, to go live elsewhere. In Gaza, there's still a war going on. There's constant reports of still the humanitarian aid, how it's getting distributed is still leading to a lot of deaths. The Palestinians are saying that it's the Israeli army that's killing them. And then the Israeli army has said nothing. We're hearing nothing about Gaza, except in the last couple of days, there have been a couple soldiers that have been killed. So that war's still going on. There's still 53 hostages, 20 of whom minimum are believed to be alive. I heard an interview today with the mother of one of the hostages, and she was saying that, she's like, I have to go up and down to the bomb shelter every so often, and she said, and that's exhausting. She said, but that is not what's on my mind. What's on my mind still all the time is that my son is a hostage, and I need to get him out. And her husband and her other son have been stuck overseas because there's still tens of thousands of people stuck overseas. There's still tens of thousands of people stuck here in Israel. I mean, not people like us, but like tourists who happen to be caught here, not people who actually live here. So, so that was, I mean, imagine that, this woman's living with like this one nightmare for almost 2 years, and now has to live through this. But she said this is nothing compared to I think it's 620 days since the Hamas war started. So so that's a little bit of the roundup from today. But for sure, the hospital hit is probably going to bring a very massive response in the coming hours. Tonight is going to be probably pretty bad, but we are still waiting to see whether or not America jumps in on this. And oh, wait. Here we go.
Situation in Iran. I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president. Looking up for questions here in our new immediacy.
Like I said, every bit of news, this one and then that one, this one, that one, contradictory. So imminent attack, imminently getting involved. Everybody's moving their ships and bombers and this and that to the region. Oh wait, we're negotiating. There was other news that Witkoff, the envoy, has been in negotiations as well. So you've got he's been having direct talks with Iran. Is that true? I mean, is that true? And they're really having talks, and then Israel's going to be like, hey, wait a second, aren't you supposed to help us? We need your B-52. What's going on? I mean, it's just information swirling around us that doesn't make any sense, at all times. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's that for today. The only other thing I was going to say before, when I was showing you one of the videos, it said on the bottom something, this has been approved by the censor. There's been this big issue lately with journalists, and by the way, not just journalists, because it's been everybody and their phone hanging out their balcony. They've been videoing impact sites, and immediately it goes onto social media, and also journalists are getting the footage and then putting it up, and the censor is really cracking down now, because they said that this is actually causing it's giving Iran the ability to better aim their missiles, because when they see where their missile hit, then they can be like, okay, so now we know that this one, went there. So if they can just just position it just a little bit, wherever, to get somewhere else where they want to get. There was also the Fox reporter that's here, Trey Yingst, who the other day, and this was nowhere in the Israeli media at all, and we see a clip of him saying oh, and yeah, this was right near the Kiryat, which is the massive defense establishment of Israel, and he actually talked about that, and everybody was like, no, you're not supposed to say that. So that's why the military censor is now cracking down on journalists, and it's by the police. The police are going to be cracking down, and who runs the police? It all goes back to Itamar Ben-Gvir, actually. So they're going to definitely be targeting Al Jazeera, which has been broadcasting from here, and other organizations. Yes, Emily, Trey. It was Trey. And actually, I saw like this, like, quote unquote influencer, Christian guy, right? Like, oh, that idiot from Fox News, blah blah blah. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna get a little heated. Hey, Justin, thank you. Thanks for your prayers. Hi, Walter and Emily, yet again. All right. Well, we're going to go, like I've been saying, we're going to go try to catch a solid hour or two of sleep. Or actually, we're going to be watching Eretz Nehederet, which is the Israeli version of Saturday Night Live. And we already saw a little preview of one of their skits. And it was going to be where the guy comes in acting like one of the IRGC commanders. That's the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Comes in and acts like the commander, and the host is like, no, he's done. And the guy goes, oh, okay, wait. He comes in as the next one, and he does the impersonation, and he says his name, and the host is like, no, he's also been eliminated. And the guy goes, come on, how am I supposed to make a living out of this? This is my job here. So anyway, that kept going. And anyway, it looks like it's shaping up to be a hilarious one. So I'm debating between running to bed and catching that 2 hours of sleep, or laughing, because laughing is also fun in the middle of this. So anyway, thank you all for joining. And we'll do this again probably tomorrow, and I'll let you know what happens overnight. All right. So anyway, I'll catch you then.